So when we talk about risk treatment, that different strategies you can choose. So the most common is you want to decrease the risk. So put in the controls, like two-factor authentication, have everyone use a password manager, put a fire system in place, do all the things to lower the likelihood of this happening, so decreasing the risk. That's by far the most common one. But I just want to show you that there are also other options. You can also avoid the risk. Just stop performing the task that is giving you the risk. For example, let's say you you're putting a lot of data in a system that's owned by Chinese, and you look at this and you say, okay, it's really bad. We're putting millions of personal user data in a Chinese system. We should stop doing this. So you simply can choose to stop using this system and maybe put this data somewhere else. So that's avoiding the risk. Then you can share the risk. This means that you transfer some of the risk to a third party. So for example, you can buy a cyber insurance, or you can put in your contract, excuse me, you can put something in a contract that you have limited liability, so you're transferring some of the risk to the other party in the contract. So this is like a legal move you can make. And then you can accept the risk. That's usually the least desirable option, but it is a cost-benefit analysis. And you might say, okay, we know we have this risk. We know we might get a fine from the data authority, but we're going to accept it for now because it's very, very expensive to clean it up at this point, for example. So that's knowingly accepting the risk. And it's much better to do it once you do a conscious decision that we're going to accept it, and you put a record that we have, management have accepted this. It's better than not knowing it's there. So that's also a benefit of doing the risk assessment and putting in a record that this one is accepted. Okay. So when you choose to decrease the risk, there are different types of treatments, different types of controls. So they can be organizational, put a process in, or a role, and say, now it's your responsibility to make sure this is handled this way. Or it can be technical. That's typically what people think about first, maybe. Put in two-factor authentication, put an automated backup system in, and buy a new system that can handle something. Then it can be people, so awareness training. And it can be physical, put a lock on your door, put a camera up, things like that. And when you do this risk assessment, it's normal to have something like 20 to 50 risk for a small company that you actually want to mitigate. Sometimes if your company is full of people that look 3 steps ahead always, you might have fewer if you're like very organized. And sometimes you might have a bit more. Yeah. So after we have all the risk and the treatments, there's going to be some of those treatments that require resources, either time or money to buy some system or buying some help to install something. And that's something where it's really important to get management buy-in. Otherwise, you might have a plan that you can actually not implement because you don't have the resources for it. So we're going to look at that later in the management review part.